Have you ever worked on a renovation project and realized that your budget now wasn't going to work like you had originally intended? My name is Frankie Delesius. I'm a very active investor here in the Atlanta area, and I've experienced what we're going to talk about today more than once. And so if you have been in this scenario, listen in. When this happens, usually the first step is there's a thing called a contingency. And what that contingency is for in your budget is to handle when unknown things happen that come up. However, sometimes there isn't a contingency, or sometimes it's just not going to be enough. And so what are some reasons for this? I mean, it could be design issues. As a matter of fact, design issues tend to be a major contributor to this. And sometimes it's hidden issues. But the reality is once you do enough renovations, it's not hard to anticipate the quote-unquote hidden issues. So, not to say that they don't come up, because they do, but it's a lot of times for a lot of people, that's sort of like this crutch excuse. Well, we didn't know it was going to happen because until we open up the wall. The reality is once you've done this enough times, most people know what's behind the wall. Okay, it's not that hard to figure out in a lot of cases. So you can actually anticipate a lot of that rationale up front. Now that being said, if you hit a point where all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, the budget's not going to work, a couple things you can do. The first thing you can do is pause for just a moment and really assess the rest of the project. You don't have to go like every little tiny detail, but make sure the rest of the project still looks realistic. It can be just a quick check of material costs. It can be just make sure that, the word on the street isn't that labor prices are going up. Just having that pulse on what's going on with materials and labor is going to help you, okay? A lot of people that are in this, vendors in particular, that are in this all the time, they know this stuff. So a lot of times just going to your vendors will tell you the answers to these questions. Hey, another thing you can do is you may just have to cut back on the latter part of the project. Maybe there's a certain finish that you want to put in, you may have to downgrade it. Now you have to be careful, because if you downgrade too much, you might take yourself out of being able to sell the property at the price point you were looking at. So there's a balancing act in there. But sometimes it may not be a downgrade as much as, hey, maybe you wanted a rain head shower. Well, you know what? Maybe now it's not going to make sense. So something to that effect, where you just got to rein it in a little bit. Okay? There is no one size fits all. It's a balancing act. Okay? Now, one thing that's very important though is when you have your general contractor managing this, or if you are managing it, either way. But if it happens to be a GC, you have to make sure you're on them to make sure they're keeping on this pulse for you. Because even though you can keep on, it doesn't mean they're doing it. And they may still be doing it, but maybe not to the extent you are, or vice versa. Again, it's not a one size fits all. So keep in mind, stay on your budget during the life of the project and stay on it closely. I can tell you from firsthand experience, when you don't, it can be very costly to just trust others to do it. Okay, that's not a winning strategy. Keep your finger on the pulse, and you'll be much likely to have success and adapt when these sorts of things come up. To check out more tips regarding construction-related items, make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube page here, as we're steadily putting out more tips to help you with your rehabs and other things real estate, investing. I need some water, so I gotta go. Thank you.